Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to take apart my new custom knife because I am a maniac. It's very well dialed in right now, and yeah, I just still have to take it apart because I have a problem. And I want to see what kind of bearings are in here and all that good stuff. So this is the Prince Customs Protean that I got yesterday at Blade Show, and I really like it a lot. Here's the packaging. Came in this little case with a cutout and this card, and it was 720 doll hairs. It has no detent lash. You can pull the blade a little bit, but it's just the detent. Hard to explain. When you have a good detent, sometimes you can feel a little bit, but it's not like lash. You can't shake it like this. Yeah, I love this thing. I mean, you can see it drops to my nail and then shakes down. So when we are done here, if there's anything wrong, the only person to blame is me. The only little issue on this knife, I don't even know if I'd call it an issue, is the backspacer here is not perfectly straight. I talked to Princeton about it. Basically, he bends these. I think a pin would be good, but anyway, he bends them after the fact, and he said I could send it in and he would adjust it just so this was more flush. What I mean is the backspacer is not like centered between this scale and that scale. It doesn't really bother me, but somebody pointed it out to me and now I can't stop thinking about it. But everything else is so perfect on this knife, it's like not worth messing with. So let's get into it. I need a T15 for the pivot. And then what do we need? T8 probably for the rest. So I have that here. So let's see if it's Loctited. It probably is. Let's see which side it wants to break from. He did a great job Loctiting it, it seems. So let's see. Let me grab my Skiff finger bit. I'm planning to put Skiffs in here, so we'll see. So basically, this tool is excellent. It's the finger bit. You can hold it like this. You put in whichever bit you need, and then you can press against the scale. So let me get it locked into the T15 here. Probably easier to just do it this way and get it in. And then you can hold it like this. So now I'm locking down this side without having to hold a driver like this and pray that I don't slip out and strip it. Now this is tie connector hardware, so it's pretty deep. Usually pretty easy to break the Loctite. So there we go. Now it is loosening because that other side is held tight. And you can see here that side came out. And now I can pull this out and we didn't destroy our knife. So you can pick these up at skiffworkshop.com. Use my code LeftyEDC. It'll save you 10% off your order. They come in aluminum and they're like 20 bucks or something. I think he has some like seconds that are even cheaper. He was selling 3D printed prototypes for even cheaper. But 20 bucks for an aluminum amazing finger bit is well worth it. He also makes the test fit card we'll use in a second. And that is how you can figure out your bearing size, and then you can order the correct bearings, which is really cool. Also in aluminum. And I don't know if they come in a set or anything. But again, use that code LeftyEDC and you will save yourself 10%, which is cool. I'll put a link down below as usual. All right, so we have the pivot, and then we'll see. This is a T6 actually. I need a T8. T8. Hoping I can take it apart from this side and not have a problem, but we shall see. It's my first time taking this apart. I bought it yesterday at Blade Show. Whoa, it's a little screw, but cool. All right, so T8 there. That's all I see. There's also a steel insert and stuff, but we'll look at that. Very, very easy. That was awesome. Look how milled out this is. Holy shit. Blurple colored ano, absolutely beautiful. Looks like he has washers and bearings. Amazing, great job there. Here's that backspacer I was talking about. And let me get the blade off of the pivot. Looks like we just have a washer and some brass caged ceramic bearings. So we do have ceramic in there, but they are in a ass-ended cage. Not my favorite, but definitely better than the steel ones you'll see in most people's knives. So good job there, Prince Customs. I'm going to put Skiffs in. Is it necessary? This knife was locked up like a bank vault, no side to side, no up and down, didn't have any pivot lash, didn't have any detent lash, was smooth as hell. I would say no, it's not necessary. Am I going to do it? Yes. Just because I really prescribe to the idea of having a solid cage and not having this stamped ass end. That's the only reason. I totally get why he does it. These cost cents and the Skiffs cost, you know, if you buy them in bulk, he'd probably pay $8-10 a piece for a set. So I get it. Just want to explain there. Don't think it's necessary on this knife. We'll compare them before I put it together. They look like 5mm 1/16, to be honest. They could be 3/16, but we'll find out in a second. So the pivot will now kind of come free. Don't know if this side is welded on or it's just really like red Loctited in. One or the other. I'm going to put this in here so I don't forget which side. We have a nice little stop pin. I like to see that. And what I really wanted to look at here is this lock bar. Now, he does have a lot of cool stuff kind of lasered on. You have Prince Customs right here. You have Protean here. And again, I could be saying it wrong or whatever, so forgive me. I think it's Protean, but I could be wrong. Number 70, 524. How cool is that? That's a lot of description on the inside there. Here's that backspacer we were talking about. So I guess he, how does it come out? It looks pinned in pretty well there. That pin might be, oh, there's a screw on this side holding it down. Got it. So we can take a look at it. Let me just... I don't want to take the clip off and the insert and all that shit. I don't think that's necessary, but I did want to show you the backspacer. So here's the backspacer. And basically what he said was it'll come off the mill sometimes and it'll be a little bit off here, just not bent perfectly the right way. So he'll take Knipex, I guess, on either side here, and then he can bend this down so you can get that straightened out a little bit. If I remember correctly, I think it was leaning towards the, so I wouldn't want to do it the wrong way, that's for sure. Nice sturdy pin here for the backspacer. I like seeing that. And then, of course, the screw that holds it down. So I think this side was the one that had more space, maybe. Let's see if we can somehow replicate this just to get an idea. Okay, I think it was actually the other side. It was leaning more towards this side. So you can see the gap on this side is a little wider. So it needs to be bent this way a little bit. I don't think it's worth me messing around with. I've already spent too much time on it, I think. It's such a small little thing and I'm just being an idiot. I'm also noticing something really cool right now. So I will mention that in a second. But pull that up, put the pin in. I'm just going to try to give it a bend. I mean, really all I need to do is bend it down this way a little bit. But that's hard to do by hand. Like this. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to get much done there. I gave it a try. We'll see if that does anything. Doesn't matter. All right, so moving on. Let me put this screw back in just to keep everything mounted. The detent ball looks like it is sheared off, which would explain a very crispy detent feel. I might have actually done something there. We'll see. Look at this. Let's zoom in on it. You see that detent ball right here? See how it's flattened? It's either a post or it is the top of the ball was sheared off on purpose so that you get a crisper deployment. So if you think about it, see it? Can't tell if it's a post that he made and then put in there or if it's a ceramic ball that was then sheared off. But either way, basically what it creates is a easier break on your detent. So there's that long ramp I was talking about in another video. Colin and a couple other people that handled it said they didn't love how the detent contact felt on the blade. And I just dropped the blade right to my nail, so I don't really notice that. When I did it a couple times left-handed, I could notice that the ramp was very long because I'd go to shake it down and it would kind of pop back up and double clutch. And that's because you have such a long, deep ramp. Look at that. So it's good in the sense that if you're a person who likes to just have it drop, it's going to do that really well. But if you're closing it, like just disengaging it and then trying to shake it down, it's not going to work as well. So it's kind of hit or miss for people. I like it the way it is. You can see right here, it says MC for Magna Cut, which is cool. I don't have the hardness or anything. There's a good look at that ramp. And there's the detent hole. So basically, if you look at a detent ball, it's going to be, I've tried to explain this before and it's hard, but here we go. Imagine this is a detent ball, right? And then you have your detent hole, right? I need to create a hole. This is Sex 101 and Knife 101. But basically, the ball goes in the hole, right? And then when you want to deploy it, the ball has to pop out of the hole and slide across the blade, right? Well, imagine if you have a ball, it's going to kind of roll out. It's going to go and then up the sides of your blade, and then it'll come out. So depending on how strong that pressure is, you're going to be able to get it to feel really snappy coming out of there, right? But it's always going to have to kind of roll up and out of there because it's a ball. It rolls up and out. But now imagine that it is flat. Like this. Imagine this is your detent ball, okay? So now it sits into the hole, and when it comes out, it doesn't roll up the side and out. It just pops out. It just gets to a point where there's enough pressure, and then it pops out of there. So you're going to get more of a pop, and you can actually have a softer detent that still pops very crisply. And it's just a really cool way to do a detent, I think. Some people do it better than others. I noticed that the detent was excellent on this knife. I just didn't notice it was a flattened detent ball or a post. So very cool. I think that's awesome. So I'm just going to clean everything now. This is a very simple construction, and I mean that in the best way possible. I want to clean that detent hole. You can see the alcohol took some of the coloring out of the cloth, I think. So I always like to clean these detent holes, make sure it's all cleaned out. And then I'll clean this track. I don't know where that went. There it is. I lost this little end of the Q-tip. Okay, so the blade is clean. Now let's look at the handle. Again, you have that nice flattened detent ball. And you have a steel insert made of RWL 34, which is pretty cool. And you actually have a... it doesn't look like he's got a ton of pressure on this lock bar, and that's what I was saying. you don't need as much pressure on your detent because you have that, you're doing it differently than you would with a ball. Also, he does have a nice bit of that post or ball sticking out, so it's going to engage well even without having a ton of pressure. So basically, he's a good maker, sorry. A good maker. All right, so now we're going to figure out the size, and we're going to get the right skiffs to put in and test out. First, I'm going to clean this pivot. I'm just going to take the cloth, put it over, and then put my T8 through. Just kind of clean it out. Because you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to Loctite it with super glue, most likely. So I just want to make sure it's clean. All right, pop this in. This I checked earlier is tight. That's a T8. You also have the screws for the clip, which is a gorgeous clip, by the way. Also T8 on the inside here. You can check those real quick. Well, I'm guessing they're T8. They are. Man, those are really nice T8 screws. I don't know if he makes those or if they're tie connector like the pivot, but they look great. Okay, so put this in here. Get everything ready to stack our burger from this way. I guess I could clean the washers. So I usually will flip the washers if I'm putting skiffs in. Just want to see the other side of these, see if they're, so you can see the track on here already. So if I flip it over, it's a clean side. Now sometimes they're not like the best option to flip it over, but these look good. So I think I'm gonna do that. And I'll just take a little bit of like KPL heavy or something. Put that, I'm just trying to not put a million gallons of it down like I just did. Just put a little bit around, and then I can put the washer down, and that'll stay in place. That's important for this one where it's going to be upside down at one point. Let me just clean this up. These washers they seem really good. Thick enough, but not like overly thick, you know. So here's the clean side, and then you can see the side that's been used. And I like to flip them because when I put the skiffs in, a lot of times, you know, the skiffs aren't going to ride exactly in the same spot as the stock bearings. So the skiffs can create their own new track and not have to try to ride in an existing track. That's the idea there. All right. One other thing while we're here, I'm going to put a little bit of heavy on the detent track to help that. See, this bottle is getting old, I think. I just want a little bit on the ball too. There we go. Maybe around the ball. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. So we're done with those. And then we just need the original for the bearings. So here again are the stock ones. And they're going to be 1/16. And then the pivot is, if it's American, it's usually a 3/64. But, looks smaller. Oh, 5mm fits. It goes, oh no, there's 3/16, idiot. So there's 3/16, you can see that fits. And then here's 5mm. So that would be like China. And then this is a US custom maker size, if that makes sense. If I take this stop pin out, I can show you. It falls right in. 4mm down here, that's too small, and then 5mm was too big. So that's why this is important. So if you're going to order skiffs, you can figure out your sizing without having to order a bunch of different ones and test it or guess, right? So we figured out 3/16 pivot, and then the balls are the 1/16 size. So I'll go into my stack of bearings, and we're looking for 3/16, 1/16 right here, and that's 11 ball. And I'll explain another nice thing about putting these in there. Another nice thing is the amount of balls. So this one probably has 10. So if I count from the top, if I can hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 balls in here. These have 11. So you get 2 extra balls per bearing. You get 4 extra balls total in the knife, which will make the knife a little smoother. You'll get a little better lateral strength. Again, it's not super necessary in this case, but I'm doing it because I do it. And again, you can pick these up at skiffworkshop.com. Use the code LeftyEDC for 10% off, and here's that size. All right. I'll put this in the case, assuming it works. Because sometimes they don't fit. Sometimes the maker has such good tolerance and clearances and precision, and, well, they just don't fit because they're made for those. You know what I mean? So we're going to see. All right. I'm going to stop talking now. Did you guys get all that? 20 minutes of just babbling about knife shit? I just like to do that for people who are new to knives or new to disassembly or whatever. Maybe there's some tidbit in there that'll help them. I know most of you watching know everything I just said, but that's how it goes. All right. All the pins are in. Drop the blade on. We put oil on everywhere we need it to. Drop this in. It fits flush, so that's a good sign. If you are going to use the stock bearings, I recommend you put this ass end, I call it, in the pocket. So in this case, the pocket is in the blade. So put the ass end inside the pocket. So that way, gunk and shit can't get behind it. If you put it in this way, where the stamp side is sticking up, and there's no pocket behind it, anything that falls between the scales is going to get right into this shit. So just recommend doing that. Seems like a really well-constructed knife. Like we're not going to have a ton of finagling to do. It seems like it's just going to go together. But we shall see. Not over tightening anything and just getting those in there. I want to clean. I don't think I cleaned that pivot screw. Oh, T15. Nice and clean. Might need this. Interesting though that it's, I don't know why it's catching on that. Let me just try. Yeah, it just wants to, just has a little resistance. Might be a good amount of Loctite in there already, so I might just not worry about it. Okay. So, pretty tight there. Centering looks pretty much perfect to me. That's good. Feel the same amount of, not lash, just detent. That post is just got a little bit of room there. The backspacer looks the same, so I didn't do anything there, but that's fine. Fires out. See how the lockup is. It is pretty early, and it was pretty early, and that was one of the things I wanted to check with the Skiffs. Wow, it is a tank. Well, it does get better, folks. Holy shit. Is that tapping? No. I swear it's like tinging now. Hear that? Let me hold the clip. I think it's the clip. Wow. See, it doesn't do it when I do it left-handed because of the... Man, that fires. It's really good, guys. I mean, this feels better than it did, which I guess is the point. Sometimes I don't get that lucky, though, you know? So let me show you what I was talking about with the ramp. So right here, if I just disengage it, wow, that's why he did it. There is no, wow. Listen to this. There is no, there's no, what am I trying to say? Like, you know how when you have a late detent? I mean, I could literally grab any knife, even one with a great detent like this. I've never even questioned the, how early the detent is. Because look, it's super early. Like, if I disengage it, right, this is where it catches the detent, right there. And then you just break through that, and then it goes down, right? Well, if you put a detent ramp on a blade, it's supposed to help that transition. But usually there's a little bit that you can feel where it's transitioning. This comes off the lock and is immediately falling. There's no catch. So what was the... I mean... Is there at any point where it can double clutch? Because I remember it's not double clutching at all now. Let's just put it right there. Nope. Whatever he did with that ramp is epic. I think it just maybe needed, whatever I cleaned off, maybe just made it that little bit smoother, and that's, I don't know. We can give it a little bit of a whack. I don't want to, I'm not like trying to disengage it. I'm just a little. I just want to make sure it's locked up. You know what I mean? Phone's ringing. Wow. Yeah, that ting is wild. So I'm curious. The clip is not tapping though. At all. It's easy to lift up, but let's see if I can get the angle right. I mean, it hits the tie and it solidly is engaged, so there's no reason to bend it. So I got to figure out what I want to do Loctite wise, because I don't want it to loosen, but man, it's really solid. Yeah, no. You don't need Loctite on this. I don't think I need Loctite. I don't think it had Loctite. I think it's just a super tight fit, or he's got like pre-cured Loctite in there or something. Man, I don't know if I've ever been this impressed after a disassembly. You know? It got even better, and I loved it before then. So, just super cool. Look at that little hole in there in the relief cut. It's wild. All right, guys, that is the Prince Customs Protean. Sorry, I just don't want to say it wrong. And this is my favorite knife in a long time. And I'm really excited about it. So absolutely excellent job by Prince Customs. I mean, this thing isn't a tank, dude. It is so solid, up, down, side to side. And then look at this. And it was pretty much like that before I did the skiffs. The skiffs are just for me. You know what I mean? It's a personal thing. Wow, I kind of want another one now. They had some in Damasteel, which I'm normally not a Damasteel fan, but they looked gorgeous. Damasteel with a really good dark edge from him. And they were like $1,200, which is not that bad. It's like $500 more. Almost grabbed one of those, but I don't know. I really do like this purple blurple. I did not. That's right. I didn't tighten these down, I don't think. So let's see if that changes anything. Doubt it. Nope. Wow. Yeah, I don't think I feel anything now. Maybe a little bit you can pull this, you know. But that's what I'm saying with that detent. It just breaks. You hear that click? It just breaks. There's no rolling out. And that's what happens with a regular detent. So you just get that really nice, you know how like a Sharp by Design knife really has that like pop sound? It almost sounds like it opens twice because you hear like pop, pop. You hear it pop out of the detent and then you hear it lock up. Same idea here. Just doesn't have that built-in pyramid thing. He's got his own thing going on with the ramp. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Excellent. All right, that's it, guys. I paid for this, but thank you to Prince Customs for making a absolutely fantastic knife. And it was a pleasure meeting Princeton and his wife at the show. That was great. And I can't wait to see what comes next. I'd love to see a sheep's foot version of this, but, you know, really, really cool. So, love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. There's a link below to the Skiff stuff and all the tools I used, the oil, all the good stuff. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I love you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later.